Hey guys, welcome to DSA-n-Design. Today we are going to start array series, and what we are going to do as part of this array series is we will start with very basic what is an array and how do we declare array, and then basically look at how the array stores the data within the RAM or within the memory location, right? Basic things basically we will look at in this video, and then from next video onward we will be basically starting with the problem statements, various different problems that are basically kind of challenges problems which are basically asked within the array, right? So let's start with the topic then. Okay, so today's agenda, right? So what we are going to start with is basically we want to learn basics of array, all right? And then second thing is we will print the array, okay? Print the elements of array, okay? And then third thing, we will see if time permits, we can also kind of add up add up the array elements, okay? Basically sum of all the elements in the array, okay? So this is what exactly we are going to look at. All right, so let's start then. So first of all, guys, what is array, right? From your perspective, what is array? Why do we need array, right? So array is basically, if I can just give you the definition of array, so it says that an ordered array is an ordered set of similar elements, okay? Similar elements, all right? Similar elements are similar data basically, yeah? Similar data items, I would say. All right, this is the official definition, right? So what it says basically, it is an ordered. This word is important, right? Ordered. Ordered means basically it basically stores the elements in a particular order, right? It doesn't store in anywhere, right? So it will basically store in a particular order, a particular location, okay? And uh, and it is a set of similar elements, which means array can store more than one data. For example, if we can just see a normal data type like int x equal to 10, right? Which means this integer can, this particular x variable can only hold 10, right? But in case of array, we can define array of any kind of data type, right? That can store a set of values, right? Multiple values when we want to store. In that case, we can actually use array, right? So let's try to understand one of the example here. So this is kind of, let's say, first of all, how do we basically uh, kind of declare the array, right? And what is the benefit of array and other things that we will look at it. First, let's try to understand how do we declare an array, right? So to declare an array, we just have to say the data type, what kind of array it is. Let's say it is integer data type, and then I say, and then this square bracket is important. Then the array name, and then you have to say new, and then again data type, and then give the size here basically. Okay. For example, let's say I want to store a roll number of 10 different people, right? So what I can say int, because roll number is an integer value, I can just give a name, something like roll number for this particular array, and then I can say int and size. Let's say for 10 people I want to store. This is the way basically how I can declare the array, basically define, right? Now, after this, we have to basically store the value, right? So how do we store the value? Basically, let's try to understand one more thing here. How do we basically, let's say these are the 10 different, this particular array can store 10 different values, right? So let's say this is my array. As I said, it basically stores the data in ordered manner and consecutive memory location, like one by one, right? So I will just show you first here, right? So let's try to see here how much, let's say numbers are like 20, 30, 40, 10, 8, 25, some number, guys. Okay, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it really? No, 7, right? Let's make 3 more. Okay. 20, 40, and 50, something like this. Okay. So as I said, array is basically an ordered set of similar data which stores, basically array always starts from index 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So there are 10 elements. So it starts from 0 and it goes up to n minus 1, right? So starting index, guys, right? Starting index is basically 0 always, and then ending index is basically n minus 1. N is basically what? N is actually number of elements, right? So in this case it is 10, right? So that's why you can see ending element is 9 because it's starting from 0. Okay. Now this is how do we basically know, like, what is the kind of, how do we access, why do we use array first of all, right? So array, as I said, it will store the data in a very consecutive manner, right? Like one by one, right? All the data. So this is a continuous allocation of memory in the RAM basically, right? That's how uh, accessing the array is very faster now. So for example, let's say I want to access the third element. Okay, third element I want to access. Third element is which one, guys? So this is first one, first, second, and third. I want to access this particular element, third element, which is basically at index number. What is the index? Index number 2, right? So how do I get, how do I access this particular third element? Is basically each of this, you can see this is an integer type, right? So each of these are actually this location is actually taking a 4 byte, right? Which means 32 bit, correct? So this is 32, 32, 32. So if I know my starting index, for example, starting index is, let's say, 1900, this one, right? And I want to access this one. I want to know what is the location of this one, right? So how I can know the location of this? Very simple, right? Because I know the starting address. So the formula is basically start what you say, address plus you can actually write which index it is, right? So let's say it is in this case second, right? So third element, right? Third element, and then size of each of these boxes is how much? I'm in the location. It's basically 4 byte, right? 4 byte is how much? 32 bit actually, right? So if you see it here, starting index in 1900 plus 3, this is 96 basically. So 1996. This is basically the location, or the location, memory location in the RAM for this particular element, the third element, which is on the second index basically, right? So this is like how basically array is accessed. Okay. So now let's take one more example, guys, that will be clarifying more actually, right? So let's say I want to actually access the I want to know the what is the memory location for eighth kind of um, eighth element, right? So which one is the eighth element? I think seventh index. This one is eighth element, right? Now, if I can just do the simple thing, right? Here again, to access the eighth element, what is the memory location? Okay, okay. How we get the memory location? Eighth, sorry, eighth element, right? So 1900 is starting one, and then 3, sorry, not 3, it should be 8 actually, right? 8 into 32, because each of these are basically the integer, no? Integer will take 4 bytes. Now you can easily find out. So it is um, 8, 16, and 25, correct? 256 plus 1900. Okay. So it is how much? One second, guys. 256 and 1900 basically. So this is going to be 6, 5, 1 and 2. So this is going to be 2156. This is basically my memory location, okay, in my RAM basically for the 8th index, right? Now, So this is are the technical things, right? I think nobody will teach you this kind of things, right? Basically, so how do we basically calculate all of things? This is the internal thing, how the basically array is, how array operates on it, right? But for us as a user or as a programmer, we are not bothered too much how basically we access it. We have a very simple way of accessing it. So let's uh, try to understand basically how do we access basically, right? So as I said, we have, let's say, the same array, right? Roll number, right? And this is the size is basically 10, right? Which means 10 roll numbers are basically stored here now, correct? Now to access each of this element, right? For example, I'm not going to take, I'm going to just take 4 actually, okay? 4 is good enough, guys. Okay, fine. Now let's say this roll number is 10, 20, 30 and 40. All right, these are roll numbers. Now, as I said, it is starting from 0, 1, 2. These are my indexes, right? So 4 elements means n minus 1. Last element will be n minus 1. This one is n minus 1 basically. 4 minus 1 is 3 index, right? So now, how do I access it? So it's very simple. We always access array using index, right? So if you want to access kind of the any kind of any element in this, we can just simply say roll number, okay, array name, and then we give this square bracket, and then we give the index number. So for example, 0. This will give me output equal to 10. Okay. Similarly, soap of this, and then if I say roll number, uh, let's say 3. Okay. Which one it is going to access me? Tell me. It is going to give me 40. Okay. Now tell me guys, what about this soap of roll number minus 1? Tell me, what is the answer you will be getting here? This will give me array, right? This will give me array out of bound exception. Okay, array out of bound exception. Okay, so why? Because this particular index does not exist in my array. Minus 1 does not exist. Similarly, if I say roll number of what, 4, let's say fourth index, which is also array out of bound, because that doesn't exist basically, right? So that will give me error, right? So this is how it is now, right? Now let's try to go to IntelliJ and try to do little bit of coding basically, and we'll try to print basically one of the array and see how it works basically. Okay, so let's quickly go there. So hope this is making sense, guys. Okay, so I have this package. Let me create one array. I will say here basic of array. Okay, this is my class. Now let's quickly say I will create a main. Now within this, let's try to declare the array. Okay, so as I said, we have to declare it, like give the data type, and then we will take the same example. Okay, roll number equal to new, and let's say I am just giving you 5 element this time. Okay, all right. Now before using this array, right, because as of now I just declared there is no value inside it. It will just print me, because there is no value, right? It will just give me 0 0 0, right? So let's insert some value first, right? So just kind of insert, or let's kind of assign some value. So let me assign first element like 0th index, let's say 20, something like this. Let me just put some value. All right, guys. Okay, 20, 30, 40, 50, and maybe here 60. Okay, fine. These are my roll numbers. Okay, now I have to actually put the index also: 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, guys. Now this is the one way, right? Another way to basically declare the array is also like this also. Okay, I'll just show you here also. Okay, another way is basically you actually use this bracket, no, here. You can use this bracket here. Same way actually, you can declare either this way or that way actually. So if I can say roll number new, if I can just tell like this, See, this is also taking, but we will not use this one. This is more convenient basically, and this gives more better representation, because here immediately after data type you see bracket, then you know it is array, right? So this is what we are going to use. It's again depends on people to people what they use. Now let's try to print this particular array, right? How do we print? Basically, as I said, if you want to access any kind of so we have assigned the value here already, right? Now, if I want to basically access any of this element, then I can just simply print like this. I can say roll number, and then I can just give, let's say, 3 here. Okay. What it is going to print? It is going to print me this one, right? So let's try to see if it is printing. All right. Okay. Hello. Okay. On second, it's giving me array out of bound. 1 second. Why it is giving sorry, this is the problem. See, my array last index, if it is size is 5, it should be n minus 1, right? So I have given 5, which means n, so I should give one less. Now this will work actually. All right, so it is giving me 50, which is basically this element, isn't it? Correct. Now what if I want to print entire thing, right? So can I use a for loop, and then I can just print it? So I can use for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than n, and I plus plus. What is n here? Let me take n also. N is basically, I will say, my roll number dot length. This is going to be give me the length, right? N means basically in this case it will give 5, right? Okay. So let me say, let me print it. Okay, guys. All right. So this is fine, and all right. Let's try to run it and see whether it is going to give me all the elements. So perfect, fantastic. See, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 basically. We got all of them here, right? Now, the last thing that I wanted to tell you, this is just printing part of the array, right? Now, what if I just want to add up all of them, right? Add up all of them. So now in this same for loop, I'm going to use one thing. I'm going to use one variable where I'm going to store the sum actually. So I'm going to say int equal to sum equal to 0. Okay. And then maybe I will use this same. Okay. I'm not going to use another loop. So here I'm just going to say sum equal to sum plus array of I. Now at the end, I'm just going to say print, right? Print what? Sum basically. Okay. All right. This is not array, sorry. This is roll number. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now it should work. So let's see if it is printing me some. Okay, this is 200. Okay, so this is 20, 50, 50, 50. Okay, so this is 200 basically. So this is printing me right thing basically. Okay, so this is how the array is. Now another thing is, guys, now in this case basically, we are actually trying to assign this value each of this time, right? And we are actually declaring it. If you want to do assignment and declaration in a single line, you can do like this, guys. You don't need to write like this. You can actually just let me just copy. Okay, let me copy it. Okay, we can just do it like this. Okay, like this. Let me take it like this. Okay, now if I can just say 20, 30, it will automatically take the index, count the index. You don't need to tell basically. Okay, and 60. Okay, let me try and show you complete quickly print, right? So in this case, I'm going to take array of this particular array. Okay, I'm not okay, forget about it. I'm just going to remove it itself. Okay, and let it be roll number itself then, since I removed that, right? Now this is also there. So it should also print me same thing, because we are actually declaring and printing in the same basically line. Okay, let's try to run it and see it. Okay, so this is giving me 200. Now, the last thing, guys, okay, last thing. So this is what we learned about very basics of the array, right? How it basically stores the kind of elements in the memory location internally within RAM and other things. How do you calculate based on, if it is like long, you have to put, let's say long is, what is the 8 byte, I guess, right? So then 64 you have to just multiply here, right? So similarly you have to actually find it out. Now what is the biggest advantage of the array, first of all, guys? So array's biggest advantage in terms of time complexity, right? We have learned the time complexity already, right? So in terms of time complexity, we can access any of this array, right? Any of this array um, in order of one, basically. Okay, the time complexity to access any array element is order of one. Why? Because we just access through index. We don't need to traverse, basically. We can directly give the index number and we can access it, right? And internally how it will go to that memory location, we have seen it already, right? So this is the biggest advantage of the array. That's why we use array, because we can actually directly access no matter what. Let's say I have 10,000 elements also in my array, for example, right? 10,000. If I want to access, let's say I have array, if I want to access 9998, I don't need to actually traverse from zero index, okay? I can directly jump here using that method that I have shown you before, right? How actually it can just multiply, a kind of find that particular location, right? Starting plus the data size and then the element that you want to access, right? You can directly jump to that location and you can get it. So this is basically order of one operation, basically, in terms of big O, right? So this is the biggest advantage of array. Now I think we are comfortable with array, right? In the next session onward, we will actually jump onto the problem statement and we will look at various problem statements which have been asked in various companies, right? All the farm companies, right? So we will look at all those things going forward in this series, and this series is going to be very fantastic, guys. And one more thing, if you really see the value in my teaching here, I would kind of request you guys to send it across to your friends, and I mean, you can just forward to them as well, right? Because this is really something that I'm going to teach you. You will not find anywhere this kind of content, I guarantee you. Okay, and even this much of detailed understanding, you will not find it anywhere on the internet, that is for sure. Okay, so I'm giving you this entire series for free. So from from my side, to just give me motivation as well, because I also need to see people are liking it, commenting it, and then you're subscribing it, right? That gives me a lot of motivation also to do more and more videos, such kind of videos, right? And believe me, this series is going to be one of the best series, right? And I guarantee you will not find anywhere in the internet. Okay, so yeah, so that's one thing that I wanted to request you. And I'll see you soon with the next video, guys. And let's practice together and build this skill, guys. Okay, all right. That's all for this video. I'll see you soon with the next video, guys. Until then, bye.